My name is Jo Burston. I'm the CEO and founder of Inspiring Rare Birds, with a vision of 1 million women entrepreneurs in our community by 2020 and a mission to give everybody globally the opportunity to be an entrepreneur by choice. It's really important to know that from a social perspective, I didn't want to just start a business, I wanted to start an entire movement, and I wanted to start a movement that was global. And just like Linda Jenkinson talked yesterday, I thought global day one. It wasn't something that I thought about postcode, then city, then country, and then the rest of the world. Today we have reached 83 countries in just 16 months. There's nearly 28,500 women and their supporters in the Rare Birds community today, and those supporters are made of all diversities. We are not a women's organisation. We're an organisation that supports women, and that support comes from all diversities. Those women require infrastructure and support that includes men, and I'm really, really pleased to see so many guys in the room, and thank you for being here and thank you for supporting the women entrepreneurs of Australia and the world. We know that we've got diversity right because 54% of our global readership is male, and so we actually have cracked the recipe really well. 7 of our 15 ambassadors are men and 50% of my advisory board are also guys. I believe in inclusiveness and I believe in diversity, and this has to be done together, and it's an inclusive conversation. I just want to recap on the business itself. We have 4 pillars, which are education, funding, community and mentorship, and the value of mentors to take you and your business into a growth journey. We're going to talk about funding and education today. You are the community, you are here, you're part of the 28,500, and if you are not already, please sign into the website and subscribe to keep ahead of what's going on with Rare Birds. We've had a pretty incredible journey so far. It's only 16 months ago that I decided to publish some books, and I published Australia's 50 influential women entrepreneurs for a big reason. Everyone said to me, "Don't print books, Jo, no one buys them." Well, we did. We printed them and we sold over 10,000 copies of that book alone. And the reason it sold is because I had a mandate as a CEO to see that book in every business, in every school, and on the desks and coffee tables of business people all over Australia and all over the world. It does now sit in government offices, it sits in universities, it sits in dignitary offices and businesses all over Australia and all over the world. And I'm constantly receiving photographs that's taken of this book on the tables of receptions of businesses all over Australia, including law firms, accounting firms, etc. We got really brave, and after making 50 of these women role models and luminaries, I thought it's not enough, I need to do more. There's another step in me yet. So we created If She Can, I Can. And that's the story of 29 of Australia's Generation Y women entrepreneurs. They're thinking differently. They're thinking big. They're thinking globally. They're technology enabled, or they're technology makers. They create jobs and they innovate and they put Australia on the map globally for what they do as entrepreneurs. Now this is a little bit different, this publication, because it's a workbook. It's written in the first person. So when you read it, you are actually literally talking to the woman who started that business. She will tell you how she came up with her idea, how she built her first website, where she got her first customer from, and she'll take you on the entire journey. Now, some of these women are just starting out and they're on the starting line, and some of them now have $200 million companies and are already globalised. But I really wanted to show you that these are ordinary young women in Australia doing very extraordinary things, and that's why we titled it If She Can, I Can. And if they can, you absolutely can. So a little bit of another step forward, and I thought about my trip to my school in 2013 when I talked to 30 young women around the age of 9 to 17 about entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship as a career choice. What astounded me the most, of those that you were here yesterday, was when I asked them what an entrepreneur was, most of the young girls that I spoke to told me it was a man. So I did a full circle with this title. I'm really proud of it. It's called Brilliant Business Kids. It's the story of 12 kids from all over the world. They're aged from 8 to 19. We've got 1 child and 2 teenagers from Indonesia, 3 from the United States, 1 from Vietnam, 1 from Israel, and 4 from Australia. And my messaging is very clear around this, and that is this age group does not have diversity and inclusion issues. It doesn't start there. We went one step further again and looked at what they're really doing. 7 of these businesses are social enterprises and 7 of them are for-profit companies. We really wanted to show you that business can be made profitable through social change and by changing the world at the same time. You can make money and change the world at the same time. The kids in this book really have categorically astounded me. One of them has raised $500,000 in capital to grow her business in the US. One of them is $1 million company already, and some of them again are just on the starting line. 6 of these teenagers have already expanded their enterprises internationally, and at least 2 of them are expected to expand very shortly. One of the things that really made me sit up and look and take notice was that I learnt as much from these young people, the future of Australia and the future of the world, that they learnt from me. And the time that I've spent with them has been quite extraordinary. So I've got a little bit of a surprise for you this morning. And Juliet Jones has a fabulous business called Lemonade. She's a young Australian woman, and she wants to sell enough of the lemonade she produces to fund a research team at Macquarie University to cure motor neuron disease. With the support of her parents, she's planning to have her drinks bottled and then purchased via a combi van, so she can start selling her products from where it is to some of the major Australian sporting events around the country. But what I'd like to do is say welcome to Juliet, and she's going to come and talk to you this morning.
Hi. Well, I'm a bit nervous, but I'm just going to start. Hi everybody, I'm Juliet, as you already know, and I started a lemonade stand to raise money for motor neuron disease because my grandfather passed away from it in 2014, and we have grown so much over the past 18 months, and actually today is our first day of bottling our lemonade, so yeah. Well, it all started November 2014 when my grandfather passed away, and I decided that I didn't want to let this negative get to me and to my family and to everybody else that knew my grandfather. So I wanted to turn this horrible thing into a positive. And me and my mum were talking, and I told her that I wanted to do something. And I came up with the idea of a bakery, but she said no because it would be too hard with all the laws and the food laws. So I thought of a lemonade stand out of the random, and we after we finished lunch, we got started, and it happened. We started at Ramsgate Foodies Markets, our local market. And we've grown so much to 2 lemonade flavours at the stall to like 5 plus a tea, lemon tea. So all these other products as well. And now to bottling. And we're going to the MCG and the ANZ Stadium Rabbitohs football game soon. So, yeah. I'm nervous, yeah.
I almost want to cry. So I have this strong belief, and I've said it for a long time, you can't be what you can't see. And for young women like Juliet, they do need role models. They need other women and men that they can aspire to become entrepreneurs. I 100% believe that entrepreneurship can be learnt. It's not a special gene. And just like sports people, we have to practice this skill every single day to get really good at it. So what I did was I decided with my business partner, Dr. Richard Seymour, to build an academy to teach the mindset of entrepreneurship to kids, to women and to corporates. And so today this is our soft launch today. It's a blended learning environment where it's online and offline. And we've been privileged enough to now go into a number of schools in Australia and Sydney and pilot the program, and it has been 100% successful in changing the minds of young women and young men about the concept of entrepreneurship as a career choice. And this is the future of Australia. This is our talent and resources, and they're sitting right under our noses. And I feel like it's my absolute duty as an entrepreneur to nurture that and to give that the best possible chance that it has to become the part of Australia's future, both job creation and exporting innovation and goods and services that we can create. The Academy is going to officially launch in July. So I'd like everyone's support to do that. If you'd like to have a look at what it's about, please go on to the RareBirds website. The 3 streams of education that we are providing are to kids, to women, and then to corporates as well. And alongside of the Academy, we are opening a foundation, the RareBirds Foundation, and we're going to provide that education and that start to the underprivileged as well. So that's to low socioeconomic background, to underprivileged women, and to teenagers and kids that might not otherwise have the opportunity to see entrepreneurship as a career choice in the future. I'd like to just introduce to you my business partner, Dr. Richard Seymour. He's the head of entrepreneurship innovation here at the Sydney Business School, but he's going to be wearing a different hat for the next 5 minutes.
Thanks, Sarah. My background in education started in 2003 officially when I enrolled in a PhD, and I had no intention of joining the university or doing anything with education, to be honest. I was just going to write about German literature. And I moved that across to creativity and how businesses work with creative people, and gradually just fell into this area of entrepreneurship. And by the time 2006 came around, I knew what I wanted to do, which was change the way we teach business, particularly entrepreneurship. So I started here at Sydney, and we've built a pretty good program here, I think. And then I built that out into Southeast Asia and into remote parts of Australia, because I realised the people who really are most entrepreneurial, particularly compared to people in the business school, are people outside the university. And a big drive of what we've been trying to do is to reach people beyond that very narrow bubble that is the university. So when I met Jo, and I kind of saw the yin and yang of entrepreneurship in academia, we decided we had to do something about this. So we've called it Phronesis Academy, which is terrible because I think my mum hasn't been able to pronounce that word yet, phronesis. The idea is that we're trying to teach more than just stuff. We're not teaching content, we're not teaching technical skills, we're teaching ways of being. And I think from the conference here today, we know that entrepreneurs do a hell of a lot more than just build businesses. They're passionate, they want to change the world, they want to do things differently. And that is the essence of phronesis. It means practical wisdom, and that wisdom being used for the greater good, not just for yourself. So the 2 programs we have is about this idea of, well, I don't want to be taught stuff. And I'm happy to ask the question, who likes being taught stuff? But hopefully no one will put their hand up. The idea is that we learn, and we learn by doing, and we learn in action. And from that action we learn, and from that learning we act more. And that's been the whole philosophy behind the program. So the streams that Jo talks about, Startup.business is targeting kids. We've built the online platform. We've converted this philosophy of learning that has been developed over the last 10 years into an online environment that's supported by the community of entrepreneurs, by the parents, by the families, by other entrepreneurs who want to see kids given different opportunities. And in essence, it's a way of sparking curiosity in some kids. Most kids, there is no shortage of curiosity. What they need is a vehicle to be able to channel that energy into something that they really want to do. So hopefully you see from those kids who are chatting away there that there is this desire to learn about things, not to be taught. And if we can build this community of practice in a very safe environment where it is a very considered and careful way to learn and practice entrepreneurship, I think we're going to go a long way to changing the next generation of Australia's entrepreneurs. So I don't know that I should say much more other than hand it back to Jo.
Thank you.
Do you want to get off the stage?
You can stay. So we just talked a little bit about the foundation. I'll talk about more of that later. But that is being set up as a vehicle to enable the education of entrepreneurship to those that cannot afford it or those that don't have normal access to it. And the next question is it your turn now? And when I say your turn now, I mean your kids. I mean the people that you send to school every day. Is this a part of what they're learning in curriculum? Is it a part of what they could be learning outside of curriculum? We've basically priced it as the same as learning how to play chess after school. It's like under $100 for a kid to learn this. And the reason that we've done it that way is to make it highly accessible. You know, my vision and goals are always big, and I want every kid in every school in Australia to have access to entrepreneurship as a mindset and entrepreneurship as a career choice. And no matter whether they go on to be engineers or doctors or programmers and all the other wonderful careers that are available, I think they take the mindset with them on those careers. And they can take that mindset into the front door of the organisation they're going to work for in the future and use that mindset to help innovate and create new solutions for old problems in old companies.